I needed to end things with this guy because gaslighting was like his profession. So we were grown. This was when I was in graduate school, and he was a professor at Howard. So he tried his hardest to convince me that the girl that has been writing under his comment section, calling him daddy, and all over his page and stuff, that was his cousin. This man told me, because I grew up in Omaha, Nebraska, that I did not know that calling somebody daddy was a term of endearment, family member to family member. I'll let y'all squabble with that thought. But anyhow, I just said that I need to trust my intuition, and it's a no. Goodbye. We will not be speaking again. And his response was, I should have got you pregnant when I had a chance. I've never felt so disgusted in my life.
I could tell this story now though, because it's years later, and like me and him, like we actually cool, like we like cordial now, so I could tell the story now. I had to be like 15 when it happened, because it was my freshman year of high school, and he had to be like 21 or 22. Now I knew how old he was the whole time, like, so this is not like a story about like I didn't lie, he didn't lie. Like, this is something that was known. And the crazy thing about it is my mom knew his age. Like, my mama was the type of person that when she cool, but if it ain't going her way, everybody going down. And this is what happened. Everybody just went down. Or maybe he was like 20 and I was 15. He wasn't that old, but he was over 18. Okay, so boom, me and him been talking for a few months. Like, he been in my house, he done met my mama, you know, I done been in his house. Like, it's been like, you know, we just been kicking it. So my mama, like, she's the type of person that me and her always bump heads, of course, because of my mouth. And she'll put me out, or she'll say something to me that just make me feel like I'm not wanted there. So I was a pack my clothes and leave type of person. Like, you ain't got to talk to me too much, I could go. And that's always been me. So my mom, like, she don't care if she put you out. She expect you to sit outside of her house until she let you back in. And that's not gonna happen, because I have a whole community, baby. I have choices. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna go where I want to be wanted at. So I was at the boy house, and she thought, because she turned my phone off, that I was gonna come back home. Bing bong, got an older nigga, he bought me a phone. So I was at his house for like probably like 4 days. Nah, like, she like, oh, she really ain't coming home. Oh, you can't get in touch with me. Oh. So one day, I guess she just got sick and tired of me not coming home. She called the police and popped up at the boy house with the police, y'all. I keep telling y'all, this lady love the police. Like, every story is gonna result in her calling the police. Watch. So anyway, she called the police. So I didn't come outside because I was asleep. So some way, somehow they left. So I'm like, okay, everything done died down then. So I wake up the next morning to like messages and stuff from her. So I'm like, all right, let me just go back home. So I go back home. Me and her talk. We just move past this. Like, we just move past it. It is what it is. I go back to school. We back to regular programming. Now a few days go by. This boy get a visit from a detective. Like, he didn't tell me till after. So I'm like, that's weird, because I didn't think she did anything. I thought she just wanted me to come home. So the detective was asking him, like, are you in a relationship with this girl? He said, yeah. Like, it don't matter what your parent approve of, because this person is over the age of 18, I'm under the age of 18. Like, they took the matters into their own hands. So before I knew it, they arrested the boy, y'all. Like, I was so shocked. Like, I was appalled. And I'm thinking, like, okay, I could just go down there, say something, and get him out. It didn't work like that. And then the whole time, he was on probation for murder, and I didn't even know he was on probation for murder. So he ain't just do the little time for me. He did the time for me and his. So y'all, I felt like so bad. Like, when I say I felt so bad, I felt so bad. Like, I was crying in my room for a week straight. I ain't talked to my mama or nothing. Like, I just felt awful, because I done just ruined this boy's whole life. Like, just ruined his whole life. Then I was getting hate messages from his family, y'all. Like, they just really was not with me, like, at all. But honestly, it was not my fault. Like, it was like out of my hands. Like, he literally went to jail because of the answer he responded to the detective, which was just the truth. Like, it was just the honest truth. But anyways, like, some years went by, and then, like, he reached out to me while he was in jail, and I was in college, and he just, like, really just gave me, like, some words of encouragement, and we just been friends ever since then. Like, we just been cool and cordial.
I'm fuming. I just got my first ever negative Airbnb review, and it's a joke. So for reference, we just spent 3 weeks on a road trip through Colorado. And because it's a road trip, every property that we booked, we searched by free parking and looked for on-premises parking, because it's a road trip and we're loading and unloading a lot of stuff. So that was like an imperative feature to have for any of the properties. Great, book a bunch. So the Denver property, it is the day of check-in, and they send a really long list of like all the check-in stuff, and I'm like, oh great, but it starts talking about paid parking and street parking, and I'm like, oh hey, like where's the on-premises parking? It says it on the listing. And they're like, no, it doesn't. And I'm like, yes, it does. And I literally go and screenshot it and send them exactly what it says, which is 4 different types of parking, one of them being on premises. So then they're like, oh, that's weird. And they send me what they claim is their view at the time, going in and editing the property listing where on premises is not selected and it's only paid in street. So I'm like, okay, must be an Airbnb bug, not a big deal. They ended up like snagging me a front row spot right in front in the street, which was very nice. It was a very busy area of Denver. So super, I was like, thank you, appreciate that a lot. And then, so we're there for a week. So that is on day check-in. And then 2 or 3 days in, I asked them if they have more toilet paper because my husband is lactose intolerant and doesn't seem to care. So we went through like 2 rolls in 2 or 3 days. So I just sent him a message. I'm like, hey, is there any other toilet paper stashed around the property? I can't find any more, and we're out. So they're like, oh no, we put the toilet paper out. They just only put out 2 rolls. So it's in a locked closet. So like you definitely had toilet paper. I'm like, oh no, I know. Like we just went through them. My husband has stomach issues, so no big deal. Like we'll go and grab some. Thanks anyway. They ended up leaving us a roll. And I was like, oh, thank you very much. Like super polite and thankful. And then on the day that we're leaving, there were like very few cleaning requirements to leave. So we did a bunch. We cleaned the kitchen. We took out the trash. I Febrezed all of the furniture and like cleaned it because we had our pet with us just to be safe. And we stripped the beds and did the laundry and just a ton of stuff went above and beyond. So I messaged them and say, hey, we're out of here a little bit early. These are all the things we did. Thanks again. They had the audacity to leave me a negative review and say that I had special requests for additional amenities, multiple back and forth messages, and potential lengthy detailed messages with screenshots. We talked twice, and one of them was because your property was listed wrong. What?
6 months pregnant, I was at a job interview, slid my belly under the table and gave the speech of a lifetime. The employer said, why should we offer you the position? I said, you don't have to. I'm offering you an employee I can start next week. Showed up for my first day. He said, you look different, kind of like 2 people. I said, this 6 months in the making. Don't get mad with me that you got caught slipping with your eyes open. He started combing through company policy and procedures. I said, you can't fire me, baby. Anywho, anybody need showers in the
I've just honestly never felt so disrespected in my life. I've called my fiance 40, 50 times. I don't really know the exact number. Called him on Snapchat, called him on Facebook, called him on his phone, and doesn't answer. I know he has his phone on him. Checked his location, and he's sitting at a bar. He's supposed to be working, but sitting at a bar. So he finally answers and said he just didn't want to get bitched at. So instead of just telling me that he went to the bar with some people from work to have a few drinks, he just didn't want to tell me. So he sat on his phone and watched me call over and over and over again. To me, that's unfaithful, disrespectful, unfaithful, and I just can't even think of other words right now, but to me, that's unfaithful.